Well, okay. We are back. This is It's been a while since I've done a live stream, so now we're back to doing live streams. Um, to start it off, Chicago police had seized $500,000 in fentanyl-laced heroin, 17 firearms in Operation Brick James. I'm not sure what Operation Brick James is. I guess I have to dig into some more research on that one. Um, Now, yesterday, the Chicago Police Department, or also the CPD, whatever you want to call them for short, um, they declared a major seizure by its gang investigation division. The year-long Operation Brick James, which, like I said, I've never heard of, don't know what that is exactly, or it's targeting street gangs in Chicago's West Side neighborhood area, specifically the 10th, 11th, and 25th districts, and that led to the recovery of 17 firearms and over 3 kilograms of fentanyl-laced heroin, which was estimated to be about nearly $500,000. Now, according to CPD's announcement, there were 11 arrests during Operation Brick James. Now, this brings us to the forefront the implications of the operation for those arrested and charged. Now, overall, Operation Brick James represents a significant step in confronting gang activity. Now, the broader implication is, especially of the risks posed to end users, who are even more likely to encounter drugs cut with the much more deadly fentanyl, are something that have been reported on extensively because you want to make people aware of the drugs like that. The National Institute of Health suggests that a fentanyl dose as small as 2 milligrams is basically fatal to an adult. Um, um, Now, whereas the CDC advises that fentanyl is as much as 50 times stronger than heroin alone. Like, I wouldn't know anyway, because I've never done that type of drug. Um, Now, it says a man gets 10 years for trafficking crystal meth. John Carrico, a 56-year-old man from Cambridge City, Indiana, has been handed a 10-year prison sentence by U.S. District Judge Robert Wire. Or Weir, basically, W-I-E-R. Not sure if I'm saying that last name right. The sentence was given for his involvement in possessing and intending to distribute 500 grams or more of crystal meth. Um, Now, based on the plea agreement, Carrico and Gary Boyles were in a vehicle that was pulled over by law enforcement on August 31st, 2022. During the stop, a drug sniffing dog detected narcotics in the car, and the officers then instructed Boyles to exit the vehicle. At that particular moment, Carrico quickly took over as the driver, and he fled on foot from the scene. While fleeing, Carrico encountered one of the officers and continued to and then he also led the police in a high-speed pursuit, um, reaching speeds of up to 100 miles per hour. Now, eventually, law enforcement managed to bring the vehicle to a stop. Upon retracing the path of the pursuit, authorities discovered a bag containing 741 grams of crystal meth that Carrico had discarded from the vehicle. Um, Now, Boyles pled guilty in the case, and he's set to be sentenced in he was sentenced in January of 2023, according to federal law. But Carrico is required to serve up to 85% of his prison term. Now, following his release, if he ever gets released in 10 years, which by then he'll be 66, he'll be supervised by the U.S. probation period for up to 5 years. If you're a government worker for the Lake County Government Center, supposedly you'll be getting a 4% increase in your pay. Now, who knows if that's even true? Lake County government employees will be getting a 4% pay hike in 2024, though they will not notice the impact on their paychecks right away. Now, the county council on Tuesday approved a balanced 2024 budget of around $240 million on the second reading, including the 4% pay raise for employees. The raise will be effective on January 1st of 2024, and it will cost the county about $4 million, according to officials. In the balancing of the budget, the council also approved using the planned surplus for 2023 and the surplus from 2022 to close about a $10 million budget gap created by the pay raise and anticipated increase in insurance costs. The Lake County employees are paid every 2 weeks, approximately every 11 years. There is an extra full 2 week pay period in the year, and 2024 is that year. So while employees' annual pay is going up, that pay is being spread over 27 pay periods in 2024 instead of the usual 26 pay periods. Um, Now, that this means that employers won't see a difference in their weekly take-home pay, but they will receive an extra check in 2024 for the 27 pay period. The employees take home pay every 2 weeks. The every 2 week period will increase in 2025 when the pay schedules return back to the 26 pay periods. Now, interim president Christine Sid, who's from East Chicago, said the employees annual salaries will still increase over the year if the council does not agree to cover the cost of the 27th pay period. Now here, it may seem the county is in a good financial position, but too much is still unknown. The budget does not take into account what forensic accountants Baker Tilly will report on in the investigation into the breakdown of the county's auditing process after the transition to a new Oracle accounting software. Now, Ford Motor Company has announced that they'll be laying off 500 workers. Because with that strike, and there's going to be more. So Ford has laid off a dozen more employees at its stamping plant in South Suburban Chicago Heights amid the ongoing auto worker strike. Ford confirmed it laid off over 12 employees at the Chicago stamping plant in Chicago Heights on Monday because United Auto Workers walked off the job at the Kentucky truck plant in Louisville last week. The Chicago stamping plant makes aluminum body structure components for Ford Super Duty pickup trucks, as well as for the Ford Expedition and Lincoln Navigator SUVs built at the Kentucky plant. Since September, the big three auto companies have furloughed or laid off roughly 5,000 workers since the United Auto Workers strike began back in September. Now that's all for the news, but now let's break it down here. Actually, a couple different things I want to add in, and then we'll get to Q&As for the people that are interested. So to start it off, I'm a big Bulls fan, and the Bulls have just announced that they signed backup center Derek Favors to a cap contract. And of course, Derek Favors is okay, but he's not the greatest. Of course, he's going to have to make up for all the time he lost last year if he's going to play on the Bulls. The other day, I downloaded a sports app, which is a live streaming sports app called Dufu, and you can get basically every sport on it. Basically, you can watch basketball, you can watch baseball, you can watch football, basketball, baseball, hockey, UFC, all that stuff on there, and it's great for a sports fan. It's every sports fan's dream to have that type of particular thing. So I downloaded it, and I've been watching a lot of sports on it when I have my own free time. And basically, it just live streams from your phone. I did a review on that video. Of course, the review hasn't taken off like I was hoping it would, but the video did get like 9 or 10 views. So yeah, it's not bad. So there's that. This here. Let's see here. Now, because we're without a Speaker of the House, now we're basically, now it's up for grabs, basically, of who's going to be the next one. Um, now outside of YouTube, I'm working 2 jobs to make extra money. Um, and now, I don't know how many people use TikTok, but I've been using it a lot lately to post a lot of my YouTube videos to it. Um, so um, so I've been using TikTok a lot, and I've been taking a lot of my videos and sharing them to TikTok to try to drive up to try to it drives up views a little bit. Now, just to give you a fair warning, just to give you a fair notice, and for the people that are starting YouTube channels, like me, like I've been doing YouTube videos for 5 years, um, and it's basically it takes a while. There's a guy I listen to named Roberto Blake, and yes, people are constantly fighting to get subscribers, but as he put it, subscribers don't guarantee views, just like views don't guarantee subscribers. Um, so basically, you might get a subscriber every now and then off your video, but it doesn't mean that the person's going to be watching your videos. Um, just like if a person watches your videos, it doesn't mean that they're going to subscribe either. Um, so that's just something to take to heart. And even though I wish that I could be gaining subscribers and views on each one for each video, but it doesn't always happen that way. Um, let's see here. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on here. Now, Michael Caine, who's an actor, has just announced that he's stepping away from acting after he's 90 years old. He's announced that he's going to step down and retire and live out the rest of his life just being retired. Batman in the Batman film series with Christian Bale, and he was also in the movie Now You See Me 1 and 2 and the movie Tenet, which are movies I own. Um, so basically, he's been around forever with that. Um, now, let's see what we got here. I'm actually kind of surprised that Atlanta Braves and Tampa Bay Rays were knocked out, and I thought they would have gone further than what they did, but they were both knocked out of the race. Um, Portillo's has just announced that they're opening up a second restaurant in Michigan. They got a lot of them everywhere else, but Michigan's only got 2 of them. Um, now, now, Yeah, that's basically what will do it to you. A woman is in trouble after she files a fake 911 report. Um, Now this is coming from Lake County, Indiana. Lake County, Illinois, actually. The following information comes from the Lake County Sheriff's Office and court records as a record of police activity, including incidents reported by the public and those arrested by police. Criminal charges represent accusations by the state and are often dropped or they're reduced. Of course, she basically said that this person was doing this and doing that, and now, now we did lose a couple actors. Piper Laurie has died. Um, she was known for playing the mother in Carrie and a few other things. And no, and it says no. The U.S. isn't permanently ending daylight savings time in 2023, and who knows, that might be around forever. The FBI is searching for an armed suspect who was wanted in robbing a bank at Schaumburg, Illinois. Um, of course, they always tell you go where the money is, and of course, who knows how true this is or not. Natalie Holloway, who was a girl that disappeared in 2005, and to this day her body has never been found. Basically, a suspect in Natalie Holloway's 2005 murder says he killed her and he disposed of her remains, but who knows if that's even true. I'm going to assume that she's dead, but it's been almost 19 years. I would assume that if she hasn't been seen since then, she's more than likely dead. But what they did with her body, who knows, and who killed her, nobody knows either, because they haven't found out who did it yet. But there's been suspicions on that one guy. Um, um, Chicago has just announced that they're going to be demolishing the James R. Thompson Center. Um, a judge has cleared the way for the release of a man who spent more than 45 years in prison for killing the Chicago police officer.
Open a pack and find.
Um, so So a Cook County judge on Wednesday cleared the way for the release of a man who has been locked up in prison for more than 40 years for the fatal shooting of a Chicago police officer. Shit like this is crazy as hell when people do that. But yeah. Um, I've been binge watching a lot of shows too, so yeah. And it's fucking sweating in here. I might get some to drink here. Hold on. Okay, now who's still using X, known as what used to be known as Twitter? I occasionally still use it, but not as much as I used to. Um, so the other day, I pissed off a Trump sycophant. Um, Basically, if I haven't pissed off a Trump sycophant by the end of the day, then my work isn't done. My goal is to piss off as many Trump sycophants as I can a day, um, and that's what I did on this with this guy. Um, in Cherbourg, Indiana has announced that they're bringing a restaurant called Twin Peaks to Cherbourg. It's gonna open up in a few weeks. Um, and that's gonna be one of those. It's gonna be a sports bar. So if you're in Cherbourg, go check it out when it opens up. More than 200 bodies have been removed from a Colorado funeral home amid an investigation. Let's see what the hell happened there. Um, in Penrose, Colorado, nearly 200 bodies have been removed from a Colorado Green funeral home after officials began investigating the site earlier this month. Um, Damn, what the hell's going on there? Um, so basically here, it says, this is from Penrose, Colorado. Nearly 200 bodies have been removed from a Colorado Green funeral home. On Tuesday, the Colorado Bureau of Investigation had confirmed that the Fremont County Coroner's Office has removed all human remains from Return to Nature Funeral Home, and they estimated the remains to be of at least 189 individuals have been removed. Um, who knows what the hell they were doing there? Yesterday, when I was at my job, um, they every now and then my job gets a lot of different retail stuff in. Um, and so I was looking at the shelf and I see this root beer and it says maple. It says maple root beer, and I'm looking at it. I'm like, okay, I love root beer, but I've never had like a maple flavored root beer. And so of course I took the last bottle and I'm like, I have to try this. Um, so I ended up buying it yesterday, drank the bottle, and it was actually not bad. A Chicago lawmaker wants to make a law to fine parents up to $5,000 if their kid is out of control. Let's see how well that's going to go over. Um, in Bloomington, firefighters helped rescue a 20-foot python from a fire at Miller Park Zoo. Um, a small fire had broke out Monday night at the Miller Park Zoo, located in downstate Bloomington, and had led to the rescue of several animals, including a very large python. The zoo's director, Jay Pratt, said a security guard spotted smoke coming from the Cat Hofer building, which houses reptiles for the Cat Hofer building houses lions, and other big cats, primates, mammals, and reptiles. Now, Pratt said zoo workers and firefighters teamed up to get all of the animals to safety, including a nearly 20-foot long python, which weighs about 250 pounds up in itself. Um, Now, just to be able to safely move her and contain her on any given day, let alone during an emergency, does require a significant amount of people, which is why that one was kind of a bigger deal. Now, firefighters and zoo workers spread themselves out in order to pick up the python and carry it to safety. Um, the fire rescue team jumped in and assisted the animal care team to getting that animal out of its enclosure, and then we were able to move her into another holding space. Yeah, you know. Um, because I've been basically I have no way to get around, so basically I've been walking to and from work. That fucking sucks in itself. Um, Takes about an hour to walk and an hour to get to one way to my one job, and um, there's a possible serial arsonist in Chicago because the person's been connected to 8 of them. Let's see if that's even true or not. Bet you we'll find that out. Now that's a way to try to hide. Let's see here. Um, okay. In Lakeland, Florida, a Florida man tried to evade deputies through unconventional means before they ultimately arrested him on a charge of aggravated battery, the Polk County Sheriff's Office said. The Sheriff's Office said at about 2:45 p.m. Saturday, deputies went looking for Johnny Yates, who was 41 years old, at his home in Lakeland, Florida, only to be greeted by a whiteboard with the message, "Johnny Yates does not live here." Um, No, gee, a dry erase board never lied to us before. Should we fucking believe it? The sheriff's office later joked in a news release. Um, Now deputies saw a person leaving the home who told them that Johnny was inside with several other people, according to the release. Now the deputies used a loudspeaker to command Yates to leave the home, but after about an hour, they used smoke to get the occupants out, and the sheriff's office said the surrender smoke forced several people outside, but not Yates. After still getting no response, deputies used a canine to search the home. The sheriff's office said the dog sniffed out Yates, who was hiding in a modified chest of drawers. Deputies said that Yates and 4 other people who did not cooperate were arrested in the incident. Now, one of the worst things when you're a cop is that you always have to be you have to be open to the possibility that people are going to lie to you no matter what. Um, so let's see here. I can never live in a tiny home. Those tiny homes are too small for me. Um, 2 months after the state of Florida formally apologized to Leonard Keir for the 16 years he lost following a wrongful conviction for armed robbery, authorities say that he was fatally shot to death Monday by a sheriff's deputy during a routine traffic stop just across the state line in Georgia. Um, Now, Leonard Keir and his family deserved better than this, the Innocence Project of Florida said in a statement. Um, Leonard Keir's life mattered. Now, Keir's quest to rebuild his life after being wrongfully convicted in 2003 ended tragically on the shoulder of Interstate 95 in the southern state of Georgia. Now he and his now he can now basically Keir came home and he was over the moon, and basically the mother said that she was over the moon because he was finally free. Kira's mother Mary told reporters Wednesday at a news conference, but she says my baby was free, but the truth of the matter is that he never came home. Kier had been exonerated and released from prison in April of 2020 after serving part of a life sentence. Acted with his family, gotten a steady security job, and was quietly starting a new life in an Atlanta suburb, where he was using the compensation from his wrongful conviction and imprisonment to buy his first home, according to the Innocence Project. Um, yeah, I said a lot of times people just do crazy shit here. Um, we're gonna try to get as many live stream videos in as much as I can. I can't do them all the time, especially with two jobs. So I can only do maybe one, or I can probably do like one live stream a week for both my YouTube channels to try to get them going. Um, yeah, shit. I've been using so many damn apps and binge watching. I've been watching like SWAT and Grey's Anatomy and a few other things. And I got this from my job when I was actually in the cafeteria area, and it's a dictionary, and I picked it up because Trump supporters don't know how to spell, and that's one. And so basically, if I can't spell a certain word either, I could prove to them that I could spell better than them, because of course I can. Some Trump supporters that have a third grade education, well, for me, I have a I have a college education, at least up to a point. Um, Now, I've never been on a plane, but some planes are making changes to certain things. Actor John Stamos has just revealed that he was sexually abused by his babysitter when he was a child. Obviously, well, a lot of people are coming out saying that they were sexually abused nowadays. Um, now, uh, now I've always wondered what the world was like about a million years ago. Um, who knows? Okay. What was Earth like about a million years ago? If the planet is 4.5 billion years old, a million years is not much more than an eye blink in eternity. But in human terms, however, what the world was like a million years ago is difficult to comprehend to us. Um, Science has helped us understand the distant past by unlocking many of its mysteries, and they opened up a window on what life must have been like on our planet around 1 million years ago. Now, to get a picture of what the world was like a million years ago, 24/7, Tempo has reviewed materials and information from sources such as something called LiveScience.com, which is a British geological survey. NASA.gov and they tapped the expertise of university academics who specialize in geology and earth science. Now, if you had observed Earth from space about a million years ago, the alignment of the continents would have looked very much like it does today, but upon closer inspection, the differences would become apparent. Now, this was the Pleistocene epoch, um, when Earth was colder and probably experiencing one of its ice ages, which were frequent. The amount of frozen water would drop the level of oceans. The lower sea level would have exposed land bridges between continents, allowing freer migration for our ancestors as well as animals and plants. Now, there were large lakes in the western part of the United States that are now gone, but the Great Lakes in Middle America were not yet created. England, Shakespeare's sceptred isle, was joined with the European continent. Crocodiles, lizards, turtles, pythons, and other reptiles proliferated during this time, as did birds such as ducks, geese, hawks, and eagles. Larger versions of contemporary animals such as sloths, venomous lizards, marsupials, and armadillos roamed the landscape, and before they were doomed by natural selection, the ancestors might have played a different role in their demise by hunting them. Modern day humans are disrupting the habitats of creatures all over the world through overbuilding, poaching, and generating pollution. Um, now there's animals that humans are driving into extinction. And because of glacial activity, water and vegetation was scarce. And there were some conifer trees like pine and cypress and deciduous trees such as oak and beech, which you can never find anymore. Now, yeah. Now Halloween is almost upon us, and there's gonna be of course I can't do it, but there will be a lot of ghost tours in Indiana, but because I don't have a car to get there. Now, who knows if this is true? Louis Garavito, who had confessed to murdering more than 190 kids, though it is rumored that he could have killed up to as many as 300, has died. A Colombian man who raped, tortured, and killed at least 193 children, earning him the title of the most prolific serial killer in modern history, had died last week at a prison hospital in Colombia. Prison authorities said. Luis Gabarito, 66, was sentenced to damn near 2,000 years in prison after he had confessed to murdering a whole bunch of damn kids in 1999, to murdering a number of children in the 1980s and 1990s. And that sentence was consolidated down to a maximum of 40 years. When he was captured, Gabarito admitted to posing as a monk or a street vendor to abduct his victims, which the victims turned out to be mostly poor and homeless kids, or boys being his preference. The kids that he killed ranged between the ages of 8 and 16, and he was diagnosed with terminal cancer, which eventually is what killed him. Now, yep. Let's see. I'm gonna try to get a car by sometime in the beginning of next year if I can. Hopefully, with me doing 2 jobs, I can get enough money saved. Um, but I guess we'll find out though if that works. Sorry. I'm there. trying to look for something down there. Um, yeah, some women's trying to claim that we shouldn't be fighting wars, but wars are just a thing that happens. It's even talked about in that made-up fairy tale of the Bible that people read. Um, no. I'm so tired too, so I'm not gonna be up much longer to do to keep doing this video. I'm gonna might be hopping off in about 5-6 minutes. Um, if I can find another story to break down. Um, now, actually, that, I was hoping that people would hop on and ask questions, but because I do a lot of Q&As, but obviously there's nothing going on here. Um, Now, the world's oldest living cities have fascinating stories to tell us. Um, Now, the world is filled with mysterious and intriguing ancient sites and lost citadels. There are plenty of places that are still very much functional cities that have been inhabited for centuries, if not thousands of years, from obvious cradles of modern civilization to captivating cities in the New World. Um, Luxor, Egypt. Basically, Luxor, Egypt is once an ancient Egyptian city called Thebes, and it was ruled by powerful pharaohs, including Tutankhamun. Um, the city was the most venerated of ancient Egypt in its heyday, but today it's known by its modern name Luxor, and the Nile still flows alongside the modern city and the grand temple complex that lent the city its name. Chester, England. Chester, England, in the northwest part of England, was founded as a Roman fort in the year AD 79, and it was back then known as Deva. It's the best preserved walled-in city in the country, with its magnificent medieval walls, um, almost completely encircling the historic center. The circuit around the ancient defensive system originally started by the Romans stretches for about 2 miles. Other Roman remains include the vast amphitheater, which is Britain's largest, and the Roman gardens. Um, some town called Zion, China. Now, China is home to one of the world's oldest and largest civilizations, and it's rich in extraordinary and ancient treasures. Perhaps none more so than the entire family of terracotta warriors and horses pictured in this picture here. That's the terracotta people. Um, and they were buried with the first emperor of China, Quinji Huang, for more than 2,000 years before their excavation. The incredibly lifelike army now resides in a museum which was built around the excavation site near Zion in central China. Hue, Vietnam. While this enticing city in central Vietnam isn't among the world's oldest, but it certainly is among the most interesting. The capital of Giang Trong Kingdom in the 18th century and the Nguyen dynasty between 1802 and 1805 and 1945. Sorry. Hue's history stretches as far back as the 4th century when Hue belonged to the ancient kingdom of Lam AP of Lam AP. However, it's the city's imperial past that continues to intrigue people. Um, Quito, Ecuador. With a rich and post-Columbian history, Quito is often regarded among the most significant historic cities of South America and possibly the continent's oldest continuously inhabited city too. Um, Now, Quito, Ecuador was colonized by the Spanish in 1534, but it was founded around the year 980 by the Qt tribe, or Qt whatever the fuck you want to call it. Istanbul, Turkey. A city with an illustrious past, Istanbul has lived through several incarnations. First as the Byzantium and then Constantinople period. It was founded around the year 660 BC. Istanbul has served as an imperial city for almost 16 centuries, and it's not only a political and cultural center, but Istanbul has always had an important connection between Asia and Europe. Excuse me. Um, Quebec, Canada. Quebec, Canada was founded in 1608. That's about as much as I'm going to get in today. I'm going to probably go to bed. Obviously, because I'm so fucking tired right now. And I'm starting to nod off a little bit. I was hoping to do Q&As. Of course, I'll keep doing those eventually down the line for people who might want to ask questions about my YouTube channel and what they want to get out of it. Videos do you want to see me put out? And I'll take suggestions on anything that you give me. And I'll be back next week with another video. With another live stream video. And we'll go from there.